Now, you mentioned emotional and sexual monogamy or polyamory.
Right.
How do you determine which one is for you, or
it's
which
so,
way you're going?
I think it's so far out of like the labeled boxes. So I know couples where he is monogamous and she is not. So he is monogamous to her and she is not, sexually speaking. I know couples where they consider themselves to be polyamorous, but they're only, let's say they're seeing 5 people. Of those 5 people, they're only having sex with 2. But they're in emotional relationships with the other 3 people. And so the point for me about that is that it becomes incredibly individual. So if you talk about emotional monogamy or sexual monogamy, we're talking about needs, right? So like, are your needs being fulfilled? And if they're not being fulfilled, can you afford, like, is there emotional investment? Is there sexual investment? Are your needs being fulfilled there? And if they're not, can you afford to have a partner who is investing emotionally or sexually into someone else? Do you see? So you have to be equal. And so if you feel like your emotional needs are being met by your partner and they strike up a deep feeding emotional connection with someone else and it doesn't take anything from your relationship, then you're great. But if it's taking time away from your relationship, if the relationship is suffering because of it, then you've got a problem. And so some people will see the two as being very interconnected. Others will be able to separate them. Ultimately, it boils down to like, how much investment do you need in either of those, and how much are you getting? And is that enough?
It sounds really easy when you're saying it, but I think it takes a lifetime of work to get to this really easy place where it's really easy to speak about your partner and do these things that aren't considered the norm. What's the first step someone needs to take?
We come to the same thing every time, because the first step, when you are relating to other people, it starts with how you relate to yourself. And so you need to have started being honest with yourself about what you want, what you like, and being okay with that before you can start meeting or bringing other people into your sphere. And also, you need to have an honest relationship. Tons of people don't have honest relationships. They can't be honest with themselves. They're not honest with their partners. They get married for the wrong. They go into unconscious monogamy situations. And so they will pledge their monogamy. They will wed into it. They will buy into it. They'll offer heart and soul without thinking about it for more than 5 seconds past, well, I should. It's really something I should do because that's normal, right?
Unconscious monogamy, that's the perfect term for it.
Well, my feeling is that the conscious monogamy, so whatever you do should be conscious, but especially monogamy, because there's so much, everything is, but there's so much responsibility attached to it. If you're like going to pledge your sexual and your emotional monogamy to one person, you best believe that both people in their relationship need to be adding and giving and taking and being equally responsible for it. What happens is people go into monogamy because they think it's the norm, that's what they should do, and then they sit back and go, oh, well, it's not working, I'm so dissatisfied. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you there? Do you know why you're there? Do you know why you've made the choices you've made? Sometimes I think that people should have like a 5-year renewal on their monogamy or their marriage vows, just every 5 years. Do you remember why you made those decisions? And I'm pointing fingers at monogamy now, but the case goes for any relationship model. And so where it starts is, it has to start with you. Every relationship outside of yourself has started with your relationship with yourself. Now if you're not honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anybody else.
Yes, that's true. Now, you mentioned serial cheaters earlier, that you think they actually might just not be monogamous people.
Yeah, it's just like a little, like I know, I think you get pathological liars and you get narcissists and you get people who have serious personality characteristic flaws, whatever. But aside from that, there are just people who keep finding themselves and having affairs. And I'm starting to wonder if it is just simply the case of they're not meant for monogamy. They've found themselves, they've said yes, they're in the relationship now, and this goes for men and women. It's not just the guys who cheat serially, but they find themselves in these monogamous relationships and then just can't stay sexually faithful to it because that's not how they are. They need more input, they need more stimulation. And I don't think we need to socially, individually, morally judge anyone for that. We don't judge people who need a lot of things to keep themselves. We don't judge extroverts or introverts for how they are. And so I don't think we should judge people's choices for whether they want many partners or one partner. It's just that you're truthful to the people you're in the relationship with, that you're truthful to yourself about it, and that you are conscious, whatever you're doing, that you know why you're doing it.